Hey, if you've been thinking about moving to Alameda or you're a little East Bay curious, I want to introduce you to the South Shore neighborhood here on our island city. South Shore is unique because, unlike the rest of the island, this didn't exist 100 years ago. And it has a beach, which is unique in all of the East Bay. In this video, I'm going to talk about some of the great things about living here, walk you through the housing mix and the pricing, some of the other great amenities about living in this area, and also be honest about some of the not so great things about living here. My name is Philip Kaake. I'm with Compass Real Estate here in the lovely island city of Alameda, and I've been helping people in Alameda and the East Bay for over 20 years. Alameda is an island city about 15 miles east of San Francisco, and South Shore runs along the island's entire southern shoreline. South Shore has one of the more interesting backstories of any neighborhood in Alameda because none of it existed until the 1950s. Before that, this was open bay and tidal marsh. In the early 1900s, the shoreline was actually a resort strip. The biggest draw was Neptune Beach, which opened in 1917 and was nicknamed the Coney Island of the West. And it had saltwater pools and a roller coaster. It closed in 1940. In 1955, the city partnered with the Utah Construction Company, the same firm behind the Hoover Dam, to fill in the bay. Instead of filling all the way to the old shoreline, builders carved out 5 connected lagoons as a buffer. Those lagoons, finished in 1957, are still one of the defining features of the neighborhood today. On top of that new land, developers built a classic mid-century suburb. Curving streets, Eichler-style homes, and in 1958, the South Shore Shopping Center went in. Because the whole neighborhood went up at once in the 1950s and 60s, the housing stock here has a very consistent mid-century character, quite different from the Victorians you'll see downtown or on the East End. Here you'll find single-family ranch and Eichler-style homes, some of them right on the lagoons with private docks. There are also many condo and some townhomes scattered throughout, especially along Shoreline Drive and Otis Drive, plus a number of apartment communities. So it's genuinely a mixed housing stock, single-family, condo, and rental all in the same neighborhood. One of the best things about South Shore is its most unique feature, and that is Robert Crown Memorial State Beach, which runs along the entire southern edge. 2 miles of public sand beach, popular with windsurfers, birdwatchers, volleyball players, and anyone who just wants a walk with a view or set out a blanket. And there is a dedicated and protected bike lane that runs along Shoreline Drive. If you've got a dog, there's a dedicated off-leash dog park right at Lower Washington Park next to the beach with separate areas for big and small dogs. I bring my dog Travis down here all the time. It's a great spot. Just note, dogs aren't allowed on the beach itself. I know, it's too bad. And once a year in June, we have a large sandcastle contest. It's very fun. A lot of people come out and create sandcastle magic. This neighborhood is also close to Crab Cove and the picnic areas and green spaces near there, so it makes for a nice shoreline stroll. Also in this neighborhood is the Alameda Little League fields, where I spent many windy spring days. Anchoring the neighborhood is the South Shore Shopping Center, which has been there since 1958. Today, it's home to around 74 stores. You've got Safeway and Trader Joe's for groceries, Kohl's, TJ Maxx, Home Goods, Ross, Old Navy for retail, Petco, Crunch Fitness. There's a variety of casual dining, Chipotle, Five Guys, and of course there's a Starbucks. 2 of my favorite restaurants are Trabuco, which is more upscale dining, and Sushi House, which has great views as well as sushi. During the summer, they have a summer concert series inside the courtyards. Last band I saw was a Beatles tribute band, the Sun Kings. Schools in the area are Otis Elementary and Will C. Wood Middle School. And they're also close to Alameda High and Encinal High School. And if private school is on your list, St. Joseph's of Notre Dame is a nearby option. Let's talk a little bit about transportation. South Shore sits pretty centrally on the island. You've got the High, Fruitvale, and Park Street bridges on the eastern end, which gets you into Oakland and the freeway system fairly quickly, or you can go across the island to the Webster and Posey tubes. AC Transit runs bus lines along Otis and Park Street, so there's direct bus routes to San Francisco or BART. However, BART isn't actually on the island. Fruitvale Station is the closest stop, so you're driving or busing over there rather than walking. For commute times, driving, San Francisco is about 20 miles over the Bay Bridge, typically 30 to 40 minutes off peak, 50 to 75 minutes peak or more during rush hour. The Peninsula and the South Bay, anywhere from 35 to 60 plus minutes depending on time of day and destination. And there is also ferry service out of Alameda, though the closest terminals are over on the West End. So there's some driving and parking involved to get to those. However, bikes are allowed on the ferry, so biking to the ferry is a viable and pleasant option. So let's talk a little bit about the market and what it costs if you want to own in South Shore. For single family homes, the median sold price over the past 12 months is $1,400,000. Homes typically going in about 13 days on market, and prices ranging from $800,000 up to $2.3 million. Most of the higher end homes are on the lagoon. For condos, the median sold price is $585,000 with a typical 18 days on the market, and they can range from $300,000 up to the high $800,000s, with bay views commanding a premium. Unfortunately, there are very few single-family homes with bay views. Most of the water view homes sit on the lagoons. At Compass, we also have access to private exclusives and coming soon listings you won't find anywhere else. If you're interested in living here and not ready to buy, here are some general rental costs. These are more generally for all of Alameda, not specific to South Shore. So generally, rental prices for apartments for a 2-bedroom could go anywhere from $2,200 to $3,800. If you're looking at single-family homes, a 3-bedroom home might be anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 or more. So here's a few honest trade-offs to living right here on the water in Alameda in general. Shoreline Drive can get pretty busy on the weekends, especially if it's a nice weekend with people looking for parking along Shoreline Drive or in the neighborhoods. There is a parking lot at Crown Beach. It rarely fills up, but there's now a cost to park when it used to be free. Sometimes there can be a smell from the beach when the tide is out, and living this close to the beach also means more fog and wind, especially in the afternoons. It's noticeably breezier here than in more sheltered parts of the island. If you're on one of the lagoons, there's extra upkeep as well. Lagoons get drained periodically for maintenance, and in warmer months they can get some algae and odor if there isn't enough water circulating well. And because this whole neighborhood sits on filled land just a little above sea level, it's an area the city is actively planning around for a long-term sea level rise, worth knowing about if you're thinking long-term. Hey, if you enjoyed the video on Alameda South Shore, I hope you will share it. I always appreciate hearing your comments. And if you want to see more from my channel, you can subscribe. My name is Philip Kaake. I'm with Compass Real Estate here in the lovely island city of Alameda.